think there is all the need. As a committee of energy, we are mandated to make intervention on any matters relating to oil. And this matter is so weighty that it's putting the country in a situation where it's either being doubted, or it's harassing its own citizens, or it's mismanaging the fuel industry in general. This woman must report to this committee, whatever the case. Let us authenticate what she has, because if it's from the grapevine chair, you have heard this woman does not even have an import license. So how can one import oil in Kenya without an import license? There is bigger to this than what we are seeing, which as a mandated committee need to get to the bottom of it. We should not even accept a letter from a lawyer. The lawyer is not the one who is actually adversely mentioned or is not concerned in this deal. This woman must be presented before us and tell us the truth of whatever she is alleging, so that we can be able now to know what kind of intervention mechanisms can be made, and the world at large can know what is going on about this saga. It's bigger than the way we are looking at it. Thank you, Chair.
So I will ask Mheshimiwa Gimose to introduce yourself.
My name is Charles Gimose, MP Hamisi.
All right. So members, let's not be any sensational further than that on this matter of Njeri. Only to stress that some pronouncements into creating a narrative and a perspective on leaders, and there are many Kenyans who believe now still some that it is clear.
And now more than 30 families in Amatu Street, located in Kianjai Market in Tigani West constituency, Meru County, live in fear of contracting waterborne diseases. Many residents have already moved away from the area due to the recent floods. The area toilets are full and the sewer is mixed with the flood water that penetrates through the houses of the residents. This is in light of the ongoing floods experienced throughout the country.
Mambo ya kulipa karo.
Familia zaidi ya 30 katika mtaa wa Amatu.
Now, we are sorry about that. The National Cohesion and Integration Commission, NCIC, has summoned Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya over allegations of ethnic contempt against the minority Sabaot community. A summons stems from claims that Natembeya urged the Sabaot community to be content with their leadership roles in the county government, discouraging their pursuit of a separate county. Accusations also include alleged targeted hate messages towards his deputy, Philomena Kapkori, who is from the minority Sabaot community. Natembeya addressing reporters on Natembeya addressing the reporters asserted his willingness to cooperate with the summon.
You cannot brand me any other way hata kama unaota namna gani. But you see, kuna watu ambao pia wako idol ambao wanatembea all over the place. Wakisema Natembeya amesema hivi, amesema hivi. Lakini hiyo haitutishi. Sisi tuko na mandate ya kufanyia watu wetu kazi. We are going to have very many enemies, very many distractors, but we are focused on our goal, kuhakikisha kwamba tunakwamua Trans Nzoia kutoka kwa shimo.
Mimi ninashangazwa sana. And as the Deputy Speaker of Trans Nzoia County, tunamwambia yule Reverend Kobia pamoja na other government institutions, be it the judiciary, be it the Senate, be it any commission that has been set up by the President, they should not be used to drive political agendas, to intimidate politicians. Instead, they should let leaders work independently so that our people can get development.
And now the National Cohesion and the Council of Governors is planning to submit a motion to change the new systems for funding university education to a working group that focuses on the system led by Rafael Munavu. According to the Governor of Kakamega, Fernandez Baraza, the current system has excluded many students from poor families from getting funding for higher education.
To do as Council of Governors, mimi nikiwa mwenyekiti wa kamati ya fedha, we are going to discuss with the Chair of Education, who is His Excellency Eric Mutai, ambaye ni governor wa Kericho, to petition the President so that they can look at the recommendation on the Presidential Working Party on education, especially on funding of university education. We want to have leaders ambao wamepitia pia kwa serikali kusaidiwa kwa mambo ya kulipa karo.
Still on news in the county, police in Homa Bay County have arrested 30 suspects and nabbed more than 12,000 liters of illicit brew at a local den in Njeri village within Rangwe sub-county. The suspects, comprising both men and women, were arrested in a joint operation led by Homa Bay County Commissioner Moses Lilan and County Police Commander Samson Kine. The multi-agency team, drawn from both the police and national government administration offices, found the suspects brewing the alcohol drinks in a large bush situated along River Rangwe. The officers managed to confiscate 12,550 liters of illicit brew, consisting of 11,550 liters of a local brew known as Kangara and 1,000 liters of Changa. They also nabbed 100 kilograms of jaggery used for manufacturing the brew and 2 motorcycles used for transporting it.
Got information from members of the public that in a village called Njeri, along River Rangwe in Rangwe sub-county, there were people who were involved in mass production of illicit alcohol, popularly known as Changa. So this morning we put together a team of security officers from the county, and we were there from as early as 10 o'clock. In that crackdown, we were able to arrest about 30 people who we found while they were brewing in that region. We were able also to intercept about 11,550 liters of Kangara. We were also able to nab 1,000 liters of Changa. Alongside that also, we've got almost 100 kilos of sikaranguru, which is a raw material for preparing Changa. And as you can see also, we were able to get 2 border borders. And we believe that our action today will go a long way in dismantling the system, in ensuring that we rid that area of illicit brews. We will escalate this to the rest of the sub-locations.
Now, about 4,000 residents from Malkloroti village, Mahu Ward, Taveta constituency, Taveta County, continue to struggle due to the bad road from Njukini to Taveta. Farmers and traders continue to estimate losses for not being able to deliver their crops and cargo to the market on time, especially the perishable goods. The residents have asked the government to consider their plea and save the situation from deteriorating any further.
Kama tatu Lerai daraja imeundwa, daraja sijui ni serikali gani. Daraja imepasuka, magari yote imeanguka, tikitiki maji imeoza, melon, nyanya zimeoza, kitunguu. Ama tajiri kina Isaya Mutiso analalamika bana. Manyanya zinaharibikia njiani, matingatinga zote mpaka zinakwama. Tingatinga hata yenyewe inakwama.
Ila mafanikio yanatokana na hii barabara. Vyakula vinatoka sehemu ya huko Rombo, Njukini nzima. Yani ukitaka kushiba ni sehemu ya Njukini kuendelea, na barabara hii ina mafanikio makubwa. Anastahili kuangalia hii barabara. Anastahili kuangalia wakulima wa barabara hii ambao wanaopitisha mazao. Maana barabara hii inashibisha watu Nairobi, Mombasa, hata ngambo ile ya Tanzania.
Biashara nyingi za wakulima zimekwama. Toko niambia, ushuru wa county unalipwa namna gani wakati nyanya imekwama kutoka Njukini mpaka hapa la mwisho. Huo ushuru unalipwa namna gani? Tunataka watengeneze lami kutoka huko mpaka mahali kunatakana. hata kama ni maramu ya dharura watengeneze maramu ili ushuru wakulima waweze kulipa ushuru. Hayo ndo yangu.
Nimekaa Makloriti mwaka wangu wa 3. Changamoto tunapata na hii barabara ni hasa wakati kumenyesha, gari zinakwama sana. Sasa ukipata kama gari zinasafirisha mizigo ambazo ni perishable, unapata kama zimekwama hapa zinaharibikia barabarani, wanabiashara wanapata hasara kubwa sana. Tunaomba kwa serikali ya kaunti na serikali kuu, jamani, tutengenezeni barabara ili iharakishe usafiri.
So ni ombi langu kubwa kama serikali ya kaunti inaweza shughulikia hizi barabara, iziweke lami, sio maram lami, ziwekwe lami ndio ili at least usafiri ukue vizuri. Unaona kama kuna lori hapo nyuma, lori kama 3 huko juu zimekwama zote, mzigo huo utaharibika. Kama ni tomato zikilala ndani ya container kama zina freezer zitaharibika.
And on to the head of state, President William Ruto has called on the world to be bold and strategic in the current climate crisis. He asked Africa, Europe and the region to work together in driving sharp cuts in greenhouse gas emissions. He made the remarks in Strasbourg, France, when he addressed the European Union Parliament. The president called for the restructuring of multilateral and international cooperation. He observed that multilateral and international institutions and structures established in the 20th century are outdated, arguing that the current arrangements place developing countries at a disadvantage by perpetuating cycles of dependence. President Ruto said high interest rates and debt distress make it hard for developing countries to address their socio-economic challenges that have been experienced so far.
Aligning European concessional and multilateral capital with Africa's climate agenda is also an economic idea. It is about facing down climate incompatible funding to shift them towards climate action, unlock much more concessional finance, and lower risks. Here I invite the European Investment Bank to play a bigger role in Kenya and on the continent with its expertise and resources. And finally, African economies are constrained by lack of appropriate and sufficient finance and investment. As African countries, we pay 5 times as much for our debt as would pay if the multilateral development banks were appropriately capitalized. Those seeking investment for private projects face high costs of capital and unhelpful short tenures driven by both real and perceived risk factors. We face a chokehold on a vicious cycle. As countries, our ability to invest consistently and strategically in basic infrastructure, social services, and skills development is severely hampered. And lack of that investment contributes to the high-risk premiums and makes it harder for private projects to become viable and attractive. This is a very strong list of proposals to reform the international financial architecture. We support this and more, and we are in good company. For example, the implementation of the Capital Adequacy Framework review of the MDBs has broad-based support across G7 and G20. Yet our path to action is a bit too slow. I call on all of us to accelerate and expand these measures, such as with the tax working group we are launching with France at the COP28 next month.
And off to farming, Kirinyaga farmers have a reason to smile following the fulfillment of President William Ruto's recent visit to Kirinyaga County, where he promised rice farmers an increment in the supply of subsidized fertilizers. During his tour to the region last Saturday, the president directed the National Cereals and Produce Board to increase the supply of the commodity to local farmers before Wednesday this week, which has been done already. Kirinyaga Senator Kamau Murango, who is also the chairman of the Agricultural Committee when the Senate toured the NCPB stores in Mwea and Sagana, where he confirmed they had indeed received 1,200 bags of subsidized fertilizers. Meanwhile, rice farmers from the Mwea irrigation scheme have hailed the government's intervention, noting that initially fertilizer prices had skyrocketed to a point where many farmers had started giving up, but now their hopes have been rekindled.
Hapa katika Mwea tayari katika gara la NCPB tuko na magunia takriban 1220 ikiwemo magunia 600 ambayo ni ya fertilizer ya mavuno top dressing na ingine 620 ambayo ni form inaitwa form kuzia kutoka Tanzania. Pia katika gara la Sagana pia tuko na magunia 1200 na tutaendelea tu kufuatilia kuhakikisha kwamba fertilizer ama mbolea inakuja kutosha, kuhakikisha kwamba kulima wanasalisha chakula ya kutosha.
And still on rice, residents of Nyatike Sub-County, Migori County have wanted the extension of the Kujera irrigation farm to be able to serve and benefit farmers more. The residents say the current area of 4,500 acres used does not meet the agricultural needs that continue to increase on a daily. They want the government to use all 19,000 acres intended for agriculture, while asking the government to highlight the bad condition of the road leading to the farm.
The scheme is there, and I've said it is 19,000 acres, and only 4,500 acres has been opened. So the 4,500, these are lands which can only support rice production. And people don't depend on rice alone. People depend on maize, on sorghum, but the upland areas, the blocks like the block 5, block 6, block 7, block 8, which could otherwise have supported the cereal production, are still not yet opened.
Dika sana kama sisi wanawake, tunaamka asubuhi, tunaenda kazi, ikifika jioni afadhali tunaenda na kitu kwa nyumba, tunafaidika. Sasa hata mwanamke anaweza lipa fee juu ya hii skimu yetu. Ya pili, saa ya kuvuna kama saa hizi tuko na shida moja ya barabara. Tukivuna hatuwezi pita. Mchele zinalala hata mara 3 mara 4 barabarani juu hakuna njia.
And that is all we had planned for you this wonderful afternoon. I hope you do have a blessed afternoon ahead as we prepare for more news coming right your way at 4 p.m. in the language of Swahili, and again at 7 p.m. language Swahili, and finally the Prime Edition coming to you at 9 p.m. Keep it right here on EBN TV.